Welcome to Ethridge Library. I've got a whole lot of third graders here. Okay, I'm going to turn the camera a little bit so you can see. Wave to our author. Okay, a lot of third graders here that are very excited about your book. And as you know, your book Coral Reefs is up for our state book award, the Texas Bluebonnet Award, so that's one reason why. Right, so we're excited. So welcome. We'd love to hear a bit from you, and then we have time for some questions.
Okay, wonderful. Well, good morning, everyone. Great to see you. And my name is Jason Chin, as you know. And I have a few books, including Coral Reefs. I'll just show you some other ones. I've got Island here. Can you see it? No. Looks like the video is delayed a little bit. Are we doing okay?
Yeah.
All right. And I have a new book coming out, which it's not out yet. It's coming out in the spring. It's called Gravity. There it is. Okay, and of course there's Coral Reefs. So I guess I'll start by telling you a little bit about myself and how I got started. Let's see, I guess I've been drawing pictures and kind of writing stories for a very long time, since I was really young. I always liked to draw, and I always liked stories, especially adventure stories. And when I was in elementary school, I drew all the time. When I was in third grade, I was always drawing. I had a sketchbook with me, and I really liked it. It was a lot of fun. And as I went through school, I got more and more into it. And when I went to high school, I actually had I met an artist from my town. Oh, by the way, I grew up in New Hampshire. So I think you all know where New Hampshire is, right?
No.
It's up near Canada. So I grew up in New Hampshire, and there was an artist in my town who was a children's book illustrator. And I met her, and she became my mentor. She became a teacher to me. Not a teacher in school, but someone who helped me in my as I was beginning as an artist. So then I went to art school, to college, and I moved to New York City. Raise your hand if you know where New York City is.
Oh, lots of hands.
Lots of hands, all right, good. So I moved to New York City, and I started being an illustrator, and I started illustrating magazines and then kids' books. And my first book was called Redwoods. And after that, I made Coral Reefs. That was my next book. So Coral Reefs was my second book. And when I started Coral Reefs, I really didn't know very much about coral reefs. I knew they were in the ocean. I knew that there were fish in coral reefs. But I really didn't know that much. I just saw pictures and thought they were beautiful, and read a little bit about them and thought, boy, this might make a good book. So I had to do a lot of research, and but I'd pull out, oh, there it is, my notebook here. Now raise your hand if you've ever done any research. Have you done any research in third grade? I'm not sure.
Ooh, lots of hands on that too. They are doing research.
That too? Okay, good. So as you know, research is learning about something, basically. It's when you want to know something, you have to find out, and there are many ways to find out. So one way I found information out was by reading books, okay? So every time I read a book about coral reefs, I would take some notes. I'd put it in my notebook here. You can see some of the, let's see, oops, that's drafts. I got it upside down too. There we go. Where are my notes here? Oh no, that was right side up. There we go. There's some of my notes. And then some other ways that I found out information was I watched movies. So that was pretty cool. How do you like to watch movies for your job? Part of your job, anyways. Then I talked to experts. That was another way I found out information. Okay. So I called up two scientists. Well, I actually contacted a bunch, but two scientists helped me, agreed to help me with the book so I could ask them questions, because a lot of this information was really complicated, and I didn't always understand it. You know, I'm not a scientist, I'm an artist and an author, and it's sometimes hard for me to understand all of the science until I talk to some experts, and then they helped me. So two marine biologists helped me. And then for the last part of my research, I went to a country called Belize, and I went scuba diving to see the coral reefs. So raise your hand if you've ever heard of the country of Belize. Anybody? I think
Some
we're on the
hands,
right.
maybe
Oh,
half and
there's
half.
All right. So Belize is in Central America, and Belize has a really big coral reef. And the Belize Barrier Reef actually goes along pretty much the whole coast of the country. So as you know, reefs start on the coastline and they extend out into the ocean. And the Belize Reef does that along the whole entire coast of the country. So there's a lot of really great places to dive there, and a lot of really great things to see. So I went down there with my wife and some friends, and we went scuba diving and saw all sorts of wonderful things, really amazing things, and all sorts of different animals and fish and coral, of course. So that was a big part of my research, because I write the book, of course, and I also make all the pictures. And so it's really important for me to see the real thing before I go ahead and start painting the pictures.
My name's Avery, and what inspired you to do the book?
Okay, so I'm very interested in ecosystems. I'm very interested in how lots of different plants and animals and the biology and the geology, so the land and the life that lives on the land, interact. Because everything is connected. So every species in the world is connected to every other one through some chain of interactions. It might be a food chain, or it might be a partnership. But anything one species does is going to affect another species. And I'm very interested in that. I think that's fascinating. And so coral reefs turned out to be a really good subject for exploring that, because coral reefs are such interconnected systems where every animal is really closely related to every other one. And they're all working together in this very complicated and fascinating, exciting system.
Hi, I'm Chloe, and I wanted to ask you, how long did it take you to write coral reefs?
Okay, coral reefs took me about a year and a half to make for the whole book. So when I started, I had to do all that research, and then I started writing. And the writing process takes about 6 months or so, and then making the pictures takes 6 months or so, and the research thrown in there. So every book I make takes about a year to a year and a half, depending on if I have to do other stuff in between or while I'm working on it.
Hi, my name is Christian. How much of the Belize Barrier did you explore?
Oh, okay. I went diving 4 times in the reef, and the reef is very long. I think it's about 180 miles long, so obviously I didn't swim 180 miles. We went to 4 different spots, and there we explored different kinds of reefs, I guess, or different formations on the reef. So we were in the lagoon area for some of the time, where we saw the seagrass and the sea turtles eating, and lots of stingrays. And then we went to the reef, like the reef slope, so the forereef, and then finally the reef wall. We did a wall dive where we swam along the wall between the wall and the open ocean, and dove down along the wall down about 75 feet. And that was, the wall dive was very, very cool.
We appreciate this so much. We learned so much about the author and illustration process. And so before we sign out, I'd like all the third graders to wave to our author.
All right, thanks for having me.